A very good morning to you. This is Monday with Friday, wishing for you a great week ahead. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow. I hope the day finds you in the warm company of your true love. 44 years ago, I met a girl who intrigued me. A year afterward, we began spending time together. The friendship began with us praying together. Those were the days before we discovered that answers to prayer many times are already within us rather than beyond us. Specifically, our prayers were to discern if we should embark on a steady relationship. We didn't realize how much that act was bonding us spiritually and emotionally, especially since physical chemistry was never absent. Finally, one morning, I wrote that girl a note in a little postcard, a card still safely tucked away in a briefcase along with about a couple hundred other letters and notes from that time. I wrote that God was not going to write on the wall or in the sky any answer to our prayers, so we might simply need to decide to embark on a relationship by faith. And that is what we did. The girl was more mature than I. Most girls and women appear to me to be more mature than boys and men when it comes to things of the heart. And being more mature than I, she was sure that I was the one before I could get to that point. But she was patient and endured some heartbreaks as the immature version of me tried to figure out who I was and what I really wanted. Finally, after a couple of years of vacillating, trying to grow up, I decided to settle down and proposed to her. She said yes, and a little more than a year later, we were married. It's been 40 years since. Many things have kept our marriage and our love. First, and probably chiefly, we learned the difference between liking and loving. For you see, we do not always like each other. I mean, she doesn't like me when I tell her how to drive, and I did not like her in the beginning when she drove. We haven't done that to each other in ages. We have not confused liking for loving and have disallowed the things we haven't liked, things which do not matter much in the broad scheme of things, to become big things, permanent things, and life-upsetting things. Not only that, we have learned not to complain when the dislikable arises. Life is just too short. Forgiveness is indispensable and in generous portions. I cannot recall the last time we argued. There was one incident within our first 6 months of marriage when, in a fit of anger, I called her a name. Half an hour after cooling down on a beach, I went back home with a sincere apology, transferred the name I called her to myself, promised to never call her a name again, and we have remained name-calling free since. Somewhere early in our relationship, I can't recall whether it was before we married or not, we agreed that no matter what, divorce shall never be an option. There has been no abuse, neither emotional nor physical, during these 43 years of love. Instead, there has been mutual respect, civility, and understanding. I'm convinced that were we not right for each other, the separate communities from which we each came, which were able to scrutinize us, would have each voiced their disapproval in one way or another. From the start, we belonged to community, and our relationship was dually and simultaneously private and communal. Perhaps that's where some relationships fail today. The two people seem to make it their personal business only, thereby robbing themselves of the valid and indispensable judgment of their separate communities, people who love them, who see what they cannot see, who would tell them the truth and save them a whole lot of heartache down the road. Has a beautiful world of beautiful human beings called females gone unnoticed, leaving me somehow impervious to their allure? No. But I have learned what commitment is, both its joy and peace, not painful commitment, as painful commitment is not commitment, but commitment that brings joy and peace. Now, she is not just my wife. She is home, anchor, rock, and my life. We've grown together in important ways, not with uniformity, but with equality. We've challenged and corrected and stretched each other, soundboarded, encouraged and supported one another, and have given space to each other to do our own thing and yet still share rich life together. So, here's to a 42nd Valentine's Day to the girl who married me. Perhaps our story might enrich your Valentine's Day and grant you many more with the same person. I am Michael Friday, and your week just got better. I'll see you again next week. Happy Monday, all the loving way to Friday.